One of the biggest things that the OSC has experienced as of late is the introduction of BFDI theater releases. And by all accounts, this should be something that's widely celebrated and cheered on by the community. But instead, it's probably the biggest source of modern controversy across the OSC, and there are definitely some good reasons why. Sure, maybe it's because nearly every episode for the past 6 months have been a theater first release. Maybe also because only like 40% of the OSC actually has the opportunity to even get to see the episodes a day early in the first place. Or maybe they're killing all the voice actors when BFDI finishes. Okay, fine, that's hopefully never gonna happen, but you know what I mean. Now, I'm also not just gonna pick a side and leave it at that, as I'm gonna analyze every moment that has led us to where we are now, and maybe put an end to all this conflict, as I'm not a fan of groups of unemployed OSC fans that probably don't even have the money to afford a ticket in the first place yell at each other over this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get right into this. In order to understand how we got here, we need to look at the first ever OSC theater release in history. Inanimate Insanity Season 2, Episode 3. I can assure you this isn't actually a bit because, no, it actually happened all the way back in 2014 actually. It was for the National Film Festival for Talented Youth in Seattle, Washington, and it was broadcasted to about 300 people. And even though it was a shortened version of the actual episode, we still got some pretty good reactions from the audience.
Oh, but it can have germs.
And as cool as this was for the time, it's not really relevant to the story, so we can just move on. Oh, and also shout out to the comment that completely foreshadowed what would be happening like 12 years later. Now, fast forward to 2018, where BFDI and II had their first actual meetup while VidCon was happening. Then we had the 2019 meetup, which was more or less the same thing, then quarantine happened, and finally we got the BFDI II 22 event in Los Angeles, where for the first time, it was held somewhere with a roof, but it was also, really big. Oh my god, 3,000 people in 2022 is crazy. But honestly, the sheer scale of this meetup was probably what caused the Jackajelfi and Animation Epic teams to make the BFDI and II 2023 experience. That's right, it's not a meetup anymore, they said it themselves, it's an experience now. And now with 2 cities, with Los Angeles and New York, where they showed the episodes up to 2 weeks earlier than their actual YouTube release, which definitely isn't gonna cause any drama. Don't worry, we'll get to that later. And things stayed about the same for the next 2 years, with the crews going to more and more cities, up until Teapot 20, where they decided to make it a nationwide theater release, and then do the same for BFDI 23 and Teapot 21. Got all that? Good. Now, if you heard me a bit ago, you would have heard that the first BFDI and II meetup was actually in 2018. I know this will shock a lot of new gens over here, but yeah, no, it's true. And honestly, this was a pretty chill time for the OSC. Looking back, the events definitely were a lot more personal, as you could literally give the creators fan art and get them to draw your OCs. But alas, when there's good, there's also the theater etiquette short. Oh wait, no, nothing against the short, I was referring to early episode. But yeah, I don't think it takes a genius to know that this is definitely where all this drama started. Heck, it's been 3 years and we're still going on about this? Like, come on guys, we might as well be on par with the American government. Now, in my opinion, I don't really have much of a problem with how early episode releases are handled with BFDI and II tours. To me, as long as the teams behind these events actually care about the episodes not being spoiled, I think we're all good. Though, something I do feel it's worth mentioning is that I do feel like it's time to expand to more cities or countries, particularly in the UK, because I have actually talked to some of my British friends before, and they sound like
Oi, mate, it sure would be a pretty damn good time if BFDI would go to the UK, ain't it, bruv?
Why are you talking like that? Can you talk normally, please?
Alright, all jokes aside, it would actually be pretty nice to have a UK tour, even though I don't live there. Not all cities though, I think just London would be good enough. And it would probably get a lot more people talking about the OSC as a whole, probably going mainstream again like the time that Teapot 20 came out in theaters. So, maybe, I think it's a good idea. Hey, wait, before the video goes on, I just want to say that if you've been enjoying the video so far, then please consider subscribing. YouTube recently just demonetized my entire channel, so I can't earn anything anymore. So really, the only thing that keeps me going still is your guys' support, and subscribing really helps me out with that. And I also have a second channel if you're interested. Okay, thanks for listening, and now back to the video. Alright, now it's finally time to talk about Teapot 20 and its theater release. Listen, like it or hate it, it's still probably the most important episode in recent BFDI history. Not only plot-wise, but for the OSC in general. And it coming out of theaters caused a lot of discussion, not only in the OSC, but in the mainstream animation community as well. But more importantly than that, probably, did it actually fit as a good episode to be the first theater release of all time? Yeah, I'd say so. I do actually think Teapot 19 would have been a better fit, but it was also already on theaters, but like in the BFDI tour, so yeah, no, they couldn't do that, I'm gonna be honest. And surprisingly enough, the community actually reacted pretty positively to the theater release. Even if the episode was a bit controversial by itself, I think everyone could agree at the time that having a theater release was absolutely massive for the community, and generally something more positive than negative. Though, if you clicked on this video, you would probably know that this isn't the end, this is only just beginning. Now yes, this might come as a shock to absolutely no one, but no, yeah, they continue to make theater releases, one for BFDI 23 and another for Teapot 21. Now, relatively speaking, BFDI 23 didn't actually cause that much controversy, to be honest, but it was the start of people starting to get a little bit worried that they would just do this a little bit too frequently, and yeah, no, they weren't wrong, I guess. The f was that? But even if the community was right about there being more theater releases in the future, I honestly don't think it matters that much, as this episode definitely fit a lot better as a theater release than Teapot 20 did. I mean, it was the first hour-long BFDI episode ever, was the final challenge of BFDIA, and had a lot of, I guess, theatrical moments. I don't know how you call them. So I'd say everything was relatively good, until Teapot 21 came out. Listen guys, you know it's bad when every mediocre OSC commentary YouTuber has a complaint about it for the 6th or 7th time now, like we know, dude, it's getting old, bro. But seriously though, yeah, no, Teapot 21 was definitely the weakest theater release that we've had so far. I mean, Teapot 20, we have one's origin story, BFDI 23, just a 1 hour long episode, which at that point it might just well be a movie. Teapot 21, like what does Teapot 21 have? Like, I don't even hate Teapot 21, but like, it is just not as special as the other two. Though you'd probably know that this actually isn't the thing that caused me to make this video. No, it's actually BFDI 24 not coming out in theaters, for once. And for the first time, I actually saw people wanted it to be a theater release. No, I just have to disagree, I'm sorry. There's no way this was gonna be in the theaters, I'm so sorry guys. Okay, wait, don't get me wrong, I actually do feel like BFDI 24 was one of my top 3 BFDIA episodes of all time. But no, it just didn't have that theater aura, guys. Theater. Oh, sorry. No, but like theater aura is actually crazy. Like, what am I even saying? Okay, I think that's enough jokes for one video. But I do feel like now it's time to address the OSC politics and talk about the pros and cons of these BFDA theater releases, because there are some valid arguments for both sides. So let's start off with the pros of theater releases. Firstly, all of the theater releases that we had so far are just one day before they release on YouTube. So even if you don't want to pay for the tickets, or just can't even go to the first place, it's not the end of the world, you just have to wait one more day. They also give a lot of exposure to the OSC, and I mean a lot. I already mentioned this before in the video, but when Teapot 20 came out in theaters, there was a lot of coverage on the mainstream animation media. Not only that, but it also caused a lot of big creators to start reacting to BFDI as well, including Jellybean. Y'all remember her? Oh my god. The theater events also gives the fans a way to support the show directly and also be with other OSC fans. And in times where everyone just doesn't want to socialize anymore, I'd say this is pretty cool. And finally, Jagajelfi needs money, because I don't know if you've been noticing, but Jagajelfi has been hiring a lot of new animators and artists to help out with Teapot and BFDIA. So it is only logical that they have to make that money from somewhere. Now, do I actually agree with all these points? For the most part, yeah, I do. Though the last one can have an asterisk, because I really do hope that Jagajelfi is actually using the money that they profit off the theater releases to actually expand the show and pay their animators and artists and such. As I really don't want Jagajelfi to become corporate, or more corporate than they already are, but I guess that's a topic for another video. Now let's go over the reasons why you would use Twitter. I mean the reasons why you wouldn't like theater releases. They're the same thing, right? The first reason is the most simple: spoilers. Let's face it, if some people are going to see the episode before others will, yeah, those people are just gonna get spoiled. Well, not all of them, but some of them, I guess. Then there's also the fact that maybe they're doing a little bit too many theater releases. Like, I don't know, maybe nearly every episode ever since Teapot 18 being a theater release is considered too much to some people. I don't know, you can let them be the judge. Though, if you're gonna have a problem with there being too many theater releases, it's probably because you can't even see them in the first place, because you live in Australia! I thought Libby's was from Singapore. But for real though, if you're literally from anywhere else but the US, this is probably the main reason why you don't like theater releases that much. And yeah, I can't really blame you, I'm gonna be honest. But you know what's worse than not being able to be in the theaters in the first place? Being able to be in the theaters and not enjoying it because of little kids. Now, are all these actually valid points? It depends. But first of all, I do absolutely agree that there should be international theater releases. I mean, if an entertainer could do it without boasting about it everywhere, then honestly, why couldn't Jagajovi do the same? Plus more money. For the little kids argument, I mean, yeah, but what the hell did you expect? It's a show directed towards younger audiences, so I don't really know what the hell you were going for. Now, for there being too many theater releases, while I do agree that maybe doing one every episode isn't exactly the greatest thing ever, at the same time, if it's to make the show better while also paying more animators and artists to help out with the show, I think it's a fair trade-off, and it's not like you have to watch the theater releases. And for the spoilers argument, that is a hard no. I'm gonna be so for real. It is so easy to dodge spoilers. Like, if you're on YouTube, you can just literally put any video that's even like relating to spoilers. It doesn't even have to be spoilers. It's just, if any video mentioning the spoilers, just put it in the not interested thing, and then there will be less spoilers for you. Awesome. And if you're like on an infinite scrolling platform like TikTok or Twitter, like dude, just scroll past it. Like, just scroll past it, dog. Like, I'm gonna be so honest. Like, that's great to do. Keep watching the video. That's just like peeing your pants and then wondering why they're wet. Like, what? Okay, sorry for ranting. I just really need to get that off my chest. Now, with all that, what do I think about theater releases? Short answer, I don't care, and it really doesn't matter much. Long answer, I live in a remote South American country, and I am more than positive that I will never ever get to see a theater release. And that's perfectly okay. I'm not much of a theater guy anyway. What I do care about, however, is the sheer amount of drama that every single theater release has caused so far, especially for something that, in my opinion, has more positive effects than negative for the community. Like, BFDI is getting more and more coverage now. Bigger and bigger creators are starting to react to the show, and in general, a lot more people are actually starting to know what BFDI is, even if they're not super in the community. And heck, maybe even one day BFDI might become somewhat mainstream. And while all these factors are being boosted by the theater releases, that's not to say they're perfect though. There are still definitely some major issues surrounding it. The biggest problem still facing them is that they're still only in the US. I would personally really like BFDI to expand to places like Canada, UK, and maybe even the Philippines. That last one may come off as a shock to you, but trust me, there are a lot more Filipino OST fans than you'd expect them to be. And this is less about more people being able to see the theater releases, but about more people knowing about BFDI. Because trust me, if they somehow manage to do international theater releases, that would definitely become mainstream news. Like, that's something not even the biggest indie shows can say they've done. And if you think that's unlikely, let me give you a quick example. In Geometry Dash during late 2025, it was being played by this incredibly famous streamer called Jinxie. And this wasn't like a phase either, no, he played this every day for like 2 months straight, I think. I don't really know. And during this time, Geometry Dash went from an average player count of 20,000 on Steam to over 100,000, and hitting new peaks this very month too. What I'm trying to say with this example is, if BFDI could theoretically do international theater releases, it would get picked up by a lot of news outlets and YouTube channels, which would get even more people to know about BFDI and watch this cool new indie show that they just heard about, giving BFDI more views, which means more money, which means more theater releases, and it's just like a never-ending cycle, even bigger than the AI bubble. And while all this seems unlikely, it's also not impossible to see it happen. So I really do hope that we're steering towards a better future for the OSC with the theater releases. Anyways, that's about it. I really hope you all enjoyed and took something out of this. And please take your time to form your own opinion, and don't listen to whatever the majority says or whatever. Just take your time to research and make sure you are a well-informed person. But if you want to listen to me blindly about one thing, Twitter sucks.